What's up, mi gente? It's your papi Frankie Dago right here. So back at you with another tutorial. So for this tutorial, I've had a lot of people message me regarding how to play reggaeton, how to play urbano latino styles. And since a lot of people see my live feeds, they notice that in a lot of my shows, I'm playing a lot of reggaeton and urbano latino due to the clientele and the customers that come into the places that I play in. So I thought I'd put this video together to sort of give you some ideas as to how you can approach it. I'm just going to show you some of the things that have worked for me over the last couple years in playing this sort of style of music, and you do your thing afterwards. So we're going to use the song Bailando by Enrique Iglesias, Gente de Zona. It's a pretty well-known song. Most people recognize it, and it's got 4 chords that make it super easy, and it's these 4 chords that you find, the same chord progression you find in Danza Kuduro, in Despacito. So it's a pretty well-known chord, and if you don't know this chord, it's a chord you should learn. The song is based in G, and we're going to start on the minor 6, E minor. After that, we're going to go to C, and then G, and then D. So basically, I'm going to E minor, my minor 6, C major, my major 4, G major, my tonic, my first, and then D, which would be the 5. Okay? Now with this, what we're going to do is we're going to actually apply this to the song. So I'll play it a couple times, and then I'll show you some different rhythmical things that I can do to sort of give some variation. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's add a little bit of comp to this, all right? Here we go. 3, 4. Let's do all 3. A little more dance holly. Mix them up. So as you can begin to see, you can start getting a little more creative and add different ideas. All these ideas that I use would be great if you're playing with, for instance, with a band. So if you got a bass, a drummer, these are great ideas, all right? So starting with the simple one, right? Or all 3, like the triplet one. And a lot of these things come from, ideas I've picked up from dancehall and stuff like that, right? And so it all fits. These genres like dancehall, dembo, reggaeton, they all have a common denominator, which is this groove that doom, bakum, bat, doom, bakum, bat, doom, bakum, pap. And because of that, it's easy to translate certain idioms from each of them, and they correlate, and it works really well, right? So that's if you got a band. What if you don't got a band? Well, let's go back to that foundation we were talking about, the drums, that doom, bakum, bat, doom, bakum, pap. And for all those piano players that want to learn how to accompany themselves, listen to bass and drums. If you can get the idea there, even if the song doesn't have piano, you can get a basic idea of how you're going to do it on the keyboard. So for that, what I would do is, for this reggaeton, let's start with separating the kick and the snare. So my left's going to be the kick, and my right hand's going to be the snare. It's going to sound like this. Cool, all right, but I think it's a little choppy. What if I decide to separate the pinky and the thumb? We get something like this. Cool. Now what if I decide to actually hold them to their full extent? So now my bass notes are being held all the way. Cool, we got some ideas there, all right? Now, what if, per se, you want to change the roles and you want this to do something a little different? So now, instead of just doing the kicks, it may be the second hit can be the snare. Watch what happens. let me show you this one nice and slow. So it goes like this. So. Idea from the beginning. That's what I'm just doing to start this one off. So these are some ideas you can use, and you can start getting creative and use different things. So I use a triplet thing. What if I want to change it? Maybe do this instead. So now my bass is doing this triplet thing. In between. And you just got a bunch of ideas there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put the song on and I'll show you some of these ideas in context. All right, here we go. 3 and start with that triplet groove. All right, separate hands to kick and snare like this. All right, play the octaves apart. I went to another one, sorry. Let's go back to that last one. Triplet idea on the left hand. Watch this one. So you'll notice I tend to have that tendency with my left hand to do that triplet idea. Sometimes I'll revert. Sometimes in certain sections, if I want to sort of break down, like in that part, yo quiero estar contigo, vivir contigo. Typically in a live situation, I'll typically do this. Yo quiero estar contigo, vivir contigo, bailar contigo, y tener contigo. So I really just feel what the sections are, and from there I sort of relay what I'm going to do, right? So for the part, for instance, Bailando, which is the one part where the chords change, Bailando. So I kind of go more of a, like, I sustain a little rhythmical, but I hold chords out a lot more. So I'll show you some of those reharmonizations in another video. But for now, so you get a sense, it's really just what the music's telling me to do, and I'm just feeling what's happening at the moment with the music. So the thing about reggaeton is it's not a style of music that has piano as a foundational instrument. The foundational instrument is obviously the drums, because you could have a song with just the drums and the rapper and it would still be a reggaeton. We'd still recognize it as a reggaeton, right? Add the bass, you know, but all the other instruments, they're really just effects. They're really just to add more to the layers and what's happening. So as a piano player, we get that, you know, we have that liberty of being creative when we're accompanying ourselves. And I always go to what the drums and bass are doing. That's basically the bread and butter of this, you know, of anything you do as a comper, as a piano player. Listen to the bass and drums, and you'll know what to do, all right? And I guess there's one thing I can mention is sometimes when I'm playing in groups or even on my own, I'll put a montuno to this. So let me just quickly show you how it would sound with a montuno, okay? Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I start adding some on tunos there, and we get some different cool ideas. So feel free to be creative, find different ways of doing things. And if you got any more questions, let me know. All right. I hope this video helped give you some ideas, and I'll see you next time. All right.